First, find a rock. Smash the rock. Now you have 98% concentrated silicon dioxide. Heat it to an extremely high temperature. About 2000 degrees Celsius should do it. This removes oxygen and leaves behind pure silicon. Cool it down and collect the silicon. Now you have raw silicon, but it isn't pure enough yet. Convert the silicon into a gas using Siemens' method. Then decompose it back into pure solid silicon. You now have 99.999999% pure polysilicon. Melt the ultra-pure polysilicon in a crucible. Put a small crystal of pure silicon into the molten silicon. This acts as a seed to grow a giant pure silicon crystal. Slowly pull the seed crystal out while spinning it. Now you have an ingot. Slice the ingot into thin, circular slices using a diamond saw. Each slice should be about as thick as a piece of paper. Polish each wafer until it is perfectly smooth using chemical and mechanical polishing. Dope the silicon wafer with boron, phosphorus, or arsenic. This modifies the silicon's electrical properties to create the N and P-type semiconductors needed for transistors. Coat the wafer with a light-sensitive photoresist. Take a chromium-etched photolithographic quartz mask with your circuit pattern. Shine a laser beam through it to project the pattern onto the wafer. The locations of the shadows produced by the photomask will control where the photoresist is chemically changed on the surface of the silicon wafer. Now, develop the photoresist. Acid etch the exposed parts of the wafer. Perform countless iterations and repetitions of homoepitaxy, heteroepitaxy, and pseudoepitaxy to build up the desired features on the wafer. Now you've got a finished silicon wafer. Cut it into pieces. Each small square is an individual CPU die. Locate the connection pads on the silicon chip and attach bond wires or use the flip chip method, and is done now for most modern processors. And that's how you make a CPU.